Hi, Justin. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Good. We're going to start you off with Roman Modrowski from ESPN.
All right.
Roman, you're unmuted.
All right, thank you. Hi, Justin. Hey, we're asking all the fighters what differences they've seen so far since you guys have arrived in Jacksonville. What are the differences from the normal fight weeks that you've seen so far, Justin?
There's no shuttle runs to the grocery store, to the sauna, and we have our own workout rooms. That's the only difference.
Other than
it tested up or pushed up our nose.
Yeah, that was one that all the other fighters said too. Obviously, a big difference. Like, I mean, on a normal fight week, do you kind of just stay in your hotel room anyway? I mean, it seems like a lot of the fighters are doing that now, and I can't tell if that's a big difference from normal or not.
Yeah, I'm sure that's very normal. It's a lot of rest. You know, we've been pushing ourselves like crazy. I've been pushing myself like crazy. I know all these guys and girls have. So it's a lot of rest and recovery. Workout once at night, and really just weight management.
Yeah, and one of the fighters said it almost looks like it's deserted. You know, like there's a lot fewer people around. I mean, is that almost a good thing? Do you like, or does it really matter to you?
I haven't noticed that. Florida's back to at least 25% normal. Seems normal to me, but my mind's in a very special place right now. I'm not really worried about a lot of things.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Next up, we have Nolan King with USA Today.
And my first question for you, we talked to you a couple months ago in Vegas, and you were kind of in limbo at that time. You didn't really know what the next fight was going to be. You were hoping to get back soon. Kind of lost in the shuffle here. Does this feel like a relief to you to just finally be there for a fight week? You have an opponent, and you're a couple days away.
Yeah, this is a huge relief. At that time, all I asked was for a say in my destiny, and that's what I have here. So I'm going to go out there and take advantage of that. I'm going to go out there and try my best, like I always do, and perform.
When you first came over to the UFC too, I mean, there was a lot of talk. Oh, he's coming from another organization. How is he ever going to stack up to be a champion in the UFC? And Saturday night, you have the opportunity to do that. So have you kind of thought about that at all? That you kind of looking at this journey that you've been in the UFC, that hey, now I can finally prove the doubters wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I've done that. I've already done that. So it's really not a concern anymore. I've gone in there. I've competed with the best. I lost to some of the best. I beat some of the best. No one's ever put Edson to sleep like I put him to sleep. So, yeah. That was all from uneducated views. And luckily, I like proving myself, right, even though I'm not sure until it happens. But it feels good whenever you do.
And you've talked in the past, especially recently, about kind of taking the disciplined approach to your fight. You have the MO of being wild and putting on those awesome shows. Going against a guy like Tony Ferguson, are you concerned at all about that the discipline will go out the window? Do you think that this will be an extra difficult challenge to stay disciplined in this one?
I mean, I don't know. He fights a very particular style. I fight a very particular style. So I think, there's a lot of things that happen very, very early on in a fight. And that's, who's going to fight at the distance they want to fight at, who's going to fight at the pace they want. He's going to fight at his pace. But when I touch him, he's either going to go for takedowns or he's going to give me space. And then I'll be able to, control everything. So, he's very unpredictable. And I'm looking forward to the challenge. That's, we're the best athletes in the world, as far as I'm concerned. And I possess some very, very great skills. I have a great coach, and my mind is sharp. My mind will be sharp that night. And at this level, you can't make a mistake. First one to make a mistake is going to pay.
No doubt, man. Appreciate the time, Justin. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Next, we have Ezekiel Burgess from Super Luches. You've been unmuted.
Hello, Justin. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thank you.
Hey, I wanted to ask you how it was this training camp, how it was getting prepared for this particular event with all the COVID-19 stuff and all that, how it was for you.
Yeah, the COVID wasn't a factor at all. This is a shorter camp than I've ever had. when it comes to a fight, especially a fight at this level.
Mhm.
So that's been it's been pedal to the metal, since day one. Luckily, before that, I was telling myself I was going to fight. It was going to be huge, and here we are. And it is huge, and it is another fight. So, but at the end of the day, it's never any different than your first fight. You can't believe you're invincible. You can't believe you're infallible. Punch, if it touches you at the right time in the right spot, you're going to go to sleep. And those are the things that I will always remember. This is no different than my first fight.
I understand. And you are going against Tony Ferguson, who is a very particular fighter. He likes to go to the short distance. He's very sharp with his elbows. What fight do you want against him? What will be your perfect fight against a very dangerous guy like Tony Ferguson?
The perfect fight at any time for me and mostly for my family is, I get a quick win. That's always preferred. But I'm ready for 25 minutes. I've been training my ass off for 5 weeks now. This is the 6th week. I still get, I get to turn it down a little bit, but I've been pushing hard, and I'm ready to go out there and go to work.
And this is my last question. So, imagine you beat Tony, and then you get to fight with Khabib. What fight? Again, the question is, what fight do you expect to have against someone as tough as Tony as is Khabib? Like, he's a very particular fighter. He's undefeated. So you get the fight against Khabib. What do you expect?
To be honest with you, my life does not exist after May 9th right now. It's one day at a time, one fight at a time for me. I haven't thought about that. I've been training. I'm a wrestler. I wrestled my whole life. I'm great at stopping takedowns. I've never had a great offense, but I've always been incredibly hard to take down. And I have a huge heart. So those are factors. I kick hard. I hit like a truck. And a fight is a fight. So when that comes, I will have a plan.
Thank you, Justin. Good luck in Saturday.
Thank you.
Next question, we'll have Caroline Pierce with BT Sport.
Hi, Justin. Caroline here. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you.
Good. Look, let's just talk about the weight cut for a moment. Obviously, it was a very short notice fight, and now you've had a little bit more time to prepare. But getting down to 155 pounds isn't something you've done in a while. You've been hitting that 156. So are you on track for that? And what kind of faster track changes have you had to make?
I would assume that out of every fighter on this card, I'm probably the closest to weight right now. I cut weight my whole life. And like I said, for 5 weeks, I always thought it would take longer for your body to respond. But in this 5 weeks, I have made incredible choices. I love cereal. I haven't eaten cereal once. I haven't touched bread. I've only eaten carbs twice a week. My hardest training days. I don't eat carbs after workouts. And my body has really responded. So, I'm right on point. And I've touched 55 many times in these prior UFC fights, but when I do, I drink. There's no use in making 55, so I always drink, 14 ounces to get, so I don't have to wait.
And the interim title is on the line, biggest fight of your career. I mean, what does this opportunity mean to you, and where's your mindset at right now?
Yeah, this is everything. I'm fighting for my life, for everything that I've worked for in my life. This is the culmination of events that has led me to here. I never thought. Again, it's one day at a time, one fight at a time. So I never thought I would be here, but the fact that I'm here, I'm a competitor. I'm a show off. I know how many people are going to be watching. I'm going to go out there and perform. That's what I do. Even if I, didn't want to, there's it's in me. It's in me. I was made for this. So I'm going to go out there and try to turn off his lights like I do every single fight. And I have very particular set of skills. My feet put me in positions that you need to be in to knock people out, and my confidence allows me to commit to certain things that some people hesitate in.
We're all super excited about this fight, and you are the highlight. We're expecting highlights. And in the past, you said you've been focused on being the most exciting fighter, and now your attention shifted towards being a champion. how does that look when it comes to the fight? You know, especially against a guy like Tony Ferguson that's going to be sort of throwing things that you're probably not going to expect as well. Can you be more patient? Can you apply that strategy when, you know, all the chaos is going on?
I mean, not necessarily. I could pick my shots. You know, I could use my feet to get me out of situations that I don't need to be in. I can control distance when I need to with my feet. And outside that, those are the only thing, and effort. I control effort. If I can't control it, I don't worry about it. I'm going to go in there and try my hardest. I mean, I don't know what Tony's coming with. He might try to take it to the ground right away. I have no idea, but I'm prepared for all assets and for all aspects of this game. We are the best in the world. Tony's the best, one of the best in the world. I'm one of the best in the world. We're fighting to represent America against Russia's best, and I'm not going to sell myself short. I'm going to go out there and perform.
I got to ask you about requesting that elbow to break your nose. I mean, is it a case of careful what you wish for, or is it still something you hope happens?
Get my lip. So I'll tell you, I wasn't born with this lip. You know, this was a headbutt 12 years ago in practice. When they did the coronavirus test on me, where they stuck it up my nose, they tried my right side. They literally couldn't even get that little tiny thing up my right side, so they had to go to the left side. My nose doesn't work. I believe it was so painful getting it fixed that I've always told myself I don't want to go through it again. But I believe that my quality of life, you know, I love food. I want to smell it before I eat it. I have to eat it to smell it. So yeah, I don't want to do that no more. I want to get it fixed. And he's going to elbow me, so I might as well be on the nose.
We'll look out for that one. Best of luck. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Ron Crook from LFA in the final round.
You envisioned
I missed the first
circumstance. I was just saying, Justin, hey, I'm sure this is not how you envisioned the circumstances being around your first UFC title fight would be. You know, you're fighting with no fans in the arena. But, you know, as the sports world continues to push back their seasons and games, here comes the UFC with 3 events in 8 days. So, I mean, what does it mean to you to be a part of really the first live sporting event to come back since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the U.S.?
I mean, it's huge. First and foremost, you know, these employees at the UFC get to go to work. You know,
Yep.
That's important. That's important to them. That's important to me. I get to go to work. I get to get paid. This is what we do it for. So, you know, and then the part where to inspire, you know, I fight to inspire. And this is a huge opportunity to do that. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. Humans recognize effort. I will give max effort. And that's all you have to do to succeed, I believe.
Definitely. And you look at your record and just the murder's row of opponents you've faced, from Cerrone to Alvarez and all the others. Where does Ferguson rank with some of those top opponents you fought?
I think he's number one. You know, he's a quirky dude. He punches at weird times. He comes from, you know, weird angles. It's a puzzle, you know, and I'm excited to go out there and use my skill set that I have been working on my whole life to try and figure out this puzzle. And he has to not get hit. You know, that's what it is. You've seen me since day one. You've been following me for a long time, way before the UFC run. So I'm a competitor. You know, I compete, and you know I'm a show off. I like to perform. That's all there is.
True that, man. Final question I got for you, Justin. You've been awarded 7 post-fight bonuses. What's going to be the key to earning an 8th?
Oh, I think that's already been answered. That's Tony Ferguson. You know, it's a great chance for a double bonus again.
Thanks, my man.
Thank you.
Next, we have Carlos Contreras from Millennial. You have been unmuted.
Hi, Justin. Do you hear me there?
Yes, sir.
Tony is really vocal about his Mexican heritage, but I know you also have a Mexican part in you. So is this going to be, and this fight seems to be perfect for this, is this going to be a Mexican standoff on Saturday?
Hey, I'm white on the outside and brown on the inside. I can promise you that. If you've ever seen me fight, you know that's true. Not only are me and Tony of Mexican heritage, me, Tony, Dominic, and Henry. You know, it's a fighting blood, man. It's what we do. We three out of four of us came from Arizona. 4 out of 4 of us are right there in the southwest part of the United States. We're all from the same area. I don't know what the correlation is. I don't know if it's where we're from or who we are. But I believe, we're all wrestlers. And I think that's a huge factor. So there's a lot of comparisons you could draw here. But, yeah, I think it's great, for when I have family all over Mexico. And I know how proud they are of me and to support me. It's huge for me. I love to bring attention to that.
Perfect card for Cinco de Mayo, right?
Yeah, I can't wait to eat some tacos on Sunday.
I don't know if you have any. I read you talk about your nana sometimes, your grandmother. Do you have any memories from her from Mexican? I don't know, Mexican music, Mexican food that you like to remember when you remember her?
She was my mom dropped me out there every morning before school. That's where I grew up. The food. There's always beans on the stove at all times, and you can't leave hungry. It's the best part about going to Nana's house. And they used me to try to teach her English. I wish I would have learned Spanish through her, but in the 90s there was a stigma, on people that were in America that didn't speak English. So they used me to help her, and man, it took her 40 years to become a citizen, to become an official citizen of the United States. And I'm very proud of her for that.
All right. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Dan Owen from Sport 360.
Hi,
Dan,
Justin.
you're open.
Hi, Justin. You touched upon earlier the importance of this event taking place for yourself and the rest of the UFC workers. What do you think it says about the UFC and Dana White in particular, and their determination to get this on while the rest of the sporting world lies dormant?
I mean, I love it. It's huge. I mean, it's again, everyone's locked at home. They need something. And we are that something. And then it's a testament to Dana White's fortitude. He wasn't going to take no for an answer, and he got it done. And I knew he would, because if anyone's going to get it done, it's going to be that man.
Obviously, kind of your style and attitude in the octagon is something that generally amps a crowd up. How different is it going to be this weekend for you, performing in front of an empty arena?
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. It's exactly like a Kumite or Bloodsport. My favorite movie is Fight Club. Show up, you fight to get a relief. This is my release, man. I get to go in there and release. The adrenaline's coursing through your veins. You don't know what's in there. You don't know if people are in there. It could be a bunch of animals. It doesn't matter. It's you don't see lights. You don't see people. You see its reactions, and it's so fast. It's just so fast that it won't be a factor.
I appreciate your time. All the best.
Intimate in the weirdest sense possible.
Thank you. Next, we have Damon Martin from MMA Fighting.
Hey, Justin. Obviously, on the conference call the other day, it was fun hearing you say that you invite a broken nose in this fight, you invite a war. But do you feel like Tony, his style, offers you those openings that you can punish him, you can hurt him in ways that maybe another guy wouldn't allow you to do that kind of style, because he does take a lot of risks, he does take a lot of chances. Yeah, I mean,
Again, I'm going to get elbowed. I'll be a fool to go in there and be like, I'm going to come out unscathed. That's just not. It's really not 9 out of 10 times that's not going to happen. Yeah, we have seen him get hit. We've never seen him be finished. No one's ever put Edson to sleep like he did. It's going to be hard to find it. I know how hard it's going to be to find this shot, but it only takes one, and I possess the skills and the power to land it. I will land. And we'll see what happens. Tony is a very unique fighter, and it's going to take time and patience to figure out, how to be successful.
When we talked before this fight came together, I had you break down Khabib and Tony, and obviously you gave Tony a lot of props, but you also said you thought Khabib would probably win that fight. Do you believe that Tony, I won't say easier, it's the wrong word, but is Tony an easier fight to figure out than a Khabib fight? Because I know you mentioned you probably wouldn't have taken Khabib on short notice. Like, is there an easier puzzle to figure out with a Tony versus a Khabib?
No, I think the puzzle is going to be harder. There's so many unknowns with Tony. You know what Khabib's going to do, and that's going to be take you down. Try to push you to the fence, and if not, he's going to try to take shots from space in the middle of the octagon. I believe that he can't take me down in the middle of the octagon, and I believe I can stay off the fence. So that puzzle is written. How do you beat Tony? I don't know. I'm going to find out.
And last question, Justin. I know you've said, life doesn't exist for you after May 9th until that fight is over, but I've got to ask the question because Tony has downplayed, the possibility of the Khabib fight, understanding he's gone through it 5 times, why it hasn't happened. But you've always dreamed of that Khabib fight. Now Khabib's come out and said he'll be ready by July. Can I imagine that it does mean a lot to you to win this interim title and then move on to fight a guy like Khabib? I know it's a guy you've kind of dreamed about fighting for a long time.
That's all I dream about. It's the opportunity to prove I'm the best. So yeah, they got some very personal issues. I have nothing to do with that. But I'm excited. Again, we're fighting for the right to represent the United States of America against Russia's best. I believe it's hard for the United States to get behind one fighter because we're such a melting pot and we're from so many places. But I believe that I could possibly bring us together and go to war with the United States behind me, and that's huge.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Damon. Next, we have Gabriel Gonzalez from Cage Side Press.
Yeah, Justin, how are you doing over there, man?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Justin, obviously when you get the fight, your mind has to be really focused on it. But at the same time, we're in the middle of crazy times. What did you do when you weren't training? Were you a guy who was binging a lot on TV? Were you just getting out and walking the dog? What was going on with you?
Nobody lives a crazier life than a man that signs up to fight Tony Ferguson. My life hasn't changed a bit. I go to work, I train for like 2 or 3 hours a day, and I go home and hang out, make sure I'm getting the proper nutrition, a lot of rest, some video games. But other than that, nothing's different.
What's your game to play?
I've been playing Call of Duty.
You're pretty good?
The new Warzone. I don't know about that. I'm all right.
Gotcha. A lot of people talking on... Oh, go ahead.
I said I have some good games. I've won some free-for-alls.
Gotcha. A lot of people talking about Embedded. I think a lot of the dog lovers out there, you're now their new mascot. Is that something you do often, or is that something, it was a special treat because of Embedded, carrying your dog on your back?
You saw how comfortable he was. That doesn't happen the first time. I've been holding him above my head. He's 10 years old. He'll be 10 years old in August. I've been super lucky for his health. But, he trusts me, I guess, because like I said, when he was a baby, I was just walking around with him above my head. But, yeah, that doesn't happen. That's, he's not that comfortable the first time. I've been doing it since he was a baby.
Finally, Justin, there's a lot of talk about everything going into the fight, the fact that it is Tony. You go out there, they put the belt on you on Saturday. What would you be the most proud of the accomplishment?
I would love, I approach every fight as if they're better, stronger, faster, bigger, more prepared. And I love when I can come out of there and prove myself wrong in that scenario. So that would be the biggest accomplishment, is just knowing that, knowing that I'm here, knowing that I proved myself to myself. And that's all I care about.
Hey, thank you, Justin. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. That was the last question. Good luck to you, sir, on Saturday.
You got me and Tony back to back. I'm sure they were very similar interviews, so good job.